What's up, everybody? It's Voodoo Child, and today we are going to talk about crypto. Crypto is short for cryptocurrency, and before we get into anything, real quick disclaimer: this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not responsible for any gains or losses made while trading cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is highly volatile. We'll get into that later. Always only use money and invest money that you can afford to lose. So, what is cryptocurrency? If I had to explain it in simple terms, it's basically digital currency or digital money. It is a form of currency or that has monetary value that exists in a digital space on what's called the blockchain. Without getting too technical, blockchains are like a series of networks like the internet that store data, that exchange data, and you can store value on them in the form of currency, hence cryptocurrency. These networks or blockchain networks are peer-to-peer. So instead of going to a bank and you giving your money to a bank and they hold it, the network holds the money, and all of the people who are on the network or use that network validate and make sure everyone's transactions and wallets and ledgers are correct. So there's no like central authority on a blockchain network, which is why it's super popular. It's all decentralized. It's all peer-to-peer. Your presence on that network, so my wallets, all of that stuff, are anonymous. No one knows which wallets are mine. I don't know which wallets are my friends. Everyone's anonymous, and that's why people like it. It is an anonymous ledger or anonymous network that keeps track of transactions, of things that people buy and sell and hold. So why is cryptocurrency so popular? I would say it's really popular because it is a form of investment that has a very low barrier to entry. You don't need a lot of money to get started, and it's something that you can do and buy on your computer. You don't need to go to a bank. You don't need to go to an investment company. You can literally create an account on one of these places like Coinbase or Binance or FTX or Gemini. You can create an account, link your bank account or your credit card, and start buying cryptocurrency in minutes. For the sake of today, I'll be sticking on Coinbase. Again, not financial advice. This is just the one that I use. And so we're going to stay on Coinbase, and I'm going to go through kind of the top three, in my opinion, of the top three cryptocurrencies right now. To start off, we're going to go with one that is a household name, and that is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is a digital currency. And think about it like gold. This is digital gold in the sense that gold has no other purpose except for the fact that it is a precious metal and it can be considered a store of value. Bitcoin is the same thing. It is a digital store of value. Now, the reason it's so popular, I remember hearing about Bitcoin when I was like in college. It was like 2012, 2013. One of my friends who was a super investment bro was like, hey man, you should buy some Bitcoin. This is back when it was like, it was like a couple $100 for one. But in 2020, right around the pandemic or right after the pandemic, the price skyrocketed because people had money from stimulus. I don't really know what it was, but people started buying Bitcoin. Next thing you know, you had prices $60,000 for one Bitcoin. And so this kind of opens the door for what we talk about when we say volatility. Volatility, I would say, is an investment's likelihood of changing price. The more volatile it is, the faster it will go up or the faster it will go down. I would say people buy it because they see it as a store of value. They see it as a long-term investment. They see it as something that you can buy over time and continue to accumulate. And then after the course of a year, 2 years, 5 years, you have a nice sizable chunk of this digital currency that is a store of value, like digital gold. It's like buying little pieces of digital gold over time. Moving on to market cap and popularity, cryptocurrency number 2 is Ethereum. And so where Ethereum evolved on Bitcoin was, not only is it a cryptocurrency, not only is it a store of value, but what Ethereum represents, each ETH token, this ETH, each ETH token represents an ownership in the Ethereum network. And the reason that is because when changes are made on the Ethereum network, you have to use ETH in order to validate that transaction. Real quick, let's talk about wallets. Cryptocurrency wallets are like a real wallet where you have all of your cards, your money, all your things like that, except it's digital and it exists on the blockchain. You have an Ethereum wallet, you have a Bitcoin wallet, you have a Solana wallet. In some cases, you have a hard or cold storage wallet. For example, I have here my ledger, and this ledger on here is the code that represents my ownership for pieces of all the cryptocurrency that I have. So not only is Ethereum a store of value, it also represents an ownership of network. And then what else it does is you can write smart contracts on Ethereum. There's a great video on smart contracts by Whiteboard Crypto. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description, or maybe there'll be a call out in the top right corner. But I'll make sure that that video gets linked because it does a great job of explaining what smart contracts are. So why do people like Ethereum? Well, it has a smart contract, it has networks, but it also has apps. You can write apps on the Ethereum network, and so you get things like decentralized exchanges where people can do peer-to-peer lending, and because it's a smart contract, you write the terms of the loan into the contract and it automatically executes. So moving on to what I would say is number 3 cryptocurrency in the world. I know it says popularity here. I think it's the third, is Solana. And the reason that is because you have a store of value with Bitcoin, and then with Ethereum you have a store of value plus decentralized apps plus smart contracts. And what you have with Solana is all of those things together, but what Solana does better is Solana's transaction speeds are incredibly fast. For example, when I buy Bitcoin on Coinbase and I send it to my ledger, it takes about 10 minutes for it to get there, which is still ridiculously fast. Like by comparison, if I were to do the same thing with a bank, like an ACH transaction for a bank would take a couple days. But with Bitcoin, it's about 10 minutes. Ethereum, it's fast also, but the problem with Ethereum is you have what's called gas fees or transaction fees. And because of the way the Ethereum network works, those transaction fees are very, very, very high. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars per transaction. And what Solana was able to figure out how to do was to get that transaction fee down to pennies. And their transaction speeds are lightning quick. I've sent myself money. I've sent myself hundreds of dollars from Coinbase into my Solana wallet in a matter of seconds, all for like a penny. And that's why I think Solana is kind of the next way to go, is because you have all the bonuses of Bitcoin, all the bonuses of Ethereum, but you add in super fast speed and low transaction fees. So moving on, kind of finishing up here, what I find the most interesting about cryptocurrency is that there's so many different kinds. There are so many different kinds of cryptocurrencies because they're all trying to do different things, because there's so many applications for it. You can use it to prove ownership of things. You can use cryptocurrency to exchange value and monetary value between people. You can create NFTs that, if you want to go even off on that tangent, NFTs is a way to assign monetary value to social and cultural phenomenon. There's just so many different applications. In my opinion, one of the dangers of cryptocurrency, one of the cautions I would say, is it can turn into gambling really fast, because you have these coins, because of volatility, their price can go up and down so fast that people try and get in super low. I'm talking like, for example, Dogecoin. You guys probably heard of Dogecoin back in the day if you're watching this video. This time last year, yeah, Dogecoin was like not even a whole penny, and then it shot up to 58 cents, right? And then it went back down. And so people are always trying to find, oh, what's going to be the next Dogecoin? What's going to be the next flip? What's going to be the next thing? And it turns into gambling really fast. My view on cryptocurrency is much more long-term. I do think that cryptocurrency and blockchain is going to be a much more sustainable and more widely accepted form of technology in the future. But I think that future is more like 3 to 5 to 10 years from now. Kind of the community, the market decides what the price is going to be based on supply and demand. It's pure economics, which is why I really find it interesting. Is something can be hot 1 minute and absolute dog shit, excuse me, the next. So for example, earlier this year, and at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, we were on a high for Bitcoin. We were on a high for everything. So you can see here, it's like $69,000 for one Bitcoin in November 9th. And then not even a couple months later, we've lost 48% of the value of Bitcoin. And so people, as much as people want to say that, you know, cryptocurrency is going to be this new form of currency that's going to be independent from countries, independent from fiat currency, independent from the effects of inflation and interest rates, it's not true. You know, we were riding the same high with Bitcoin that the economy in the United States was riding, and then as soon as the economy started going down, so did Bitcoin. Here's another example. Let's look at Solana. Solana was riding a high, $258 for one Solana in November. Not even a couple months later, it's at $41. I got in around here. I really started getting interested in cryptocurrency around January. It's kind of when I got in and started flipping NFTs, things like that. Made some money, made like $1,000 and got out. But you can see here that there was a decline over the course of time. And we should have seen it coming, but we didn't. And then it just went to the bottom. So just something to watch out with cryptocurrency. You know, the prices just can change on a dime. It can turn on a dime. I'd be careful. Again, only invest money that you can afford to lose. One more thing before we close up. Most cryptocurrencies enable you to do something called staking. And what staking is you can take your tokens that you have and use them to secure the network. And what that means is you can use your tokens to help process transactions. The way that these networks work is that there are computers all over the world that are all connected to each other on this network. There's not necessarily one particular computer that holds all of them. It's decentralized, so there's computers spread out everywhere. And these computers together are running these transactions. They're all processing them, and they submit them to the shared network together. And they all look at each other's answers for whatever processes or transactions they processed, and they look at them and they compare notes and say, okay, we all agree that, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. And then it puts all that data in a block and it connects it to the block before it, hence you have a blockchain. And so what you can do is you can take your tokens, for example, on Solana, and you can give those to those computers around the world and say, hey, I'm going to delegate my tokens to you, and you use those, you secure the network, you process transactions. And when you do that, when you process transactions, the network gives you back tokens plus a little extra for helping doing that. And so you can get staking rewards. And so you give your tokens, process the transactions, you get it back plus a little bit extra. So that's another reason why people are kind of interested in cryptocurrency. It's a new form of passive income. It's a new form of investing, where you kind of just put your money in a pool with other people and let it do work, and it comes back to you as more. So yeah, I know that was a lot of information. I hope that made sense. I think cryptocurrency is very interesting. I think will be really cool to see where it goes and how we use it. I will say one of the biggest applications of it right now is NFTs, and that is something that I would consider taking a look at if you're interested in. I might do a video on why I got out of it, but that's for another time. Either way, hope this was good. Hope this was fun. Enjoy yourself, and we'll see you.